You're sitting at your kitchen table first thing in the morning, that familiar glucometer in your hand, staring at a number that's higher than it should be, even though you did everything right last night. You took your pill, you kept dinner light, you even skipped the extra slice of bread. Yet here you are again, another disappointing reading that makes your shoulders drop just a little more. I see that look every day in my patients, and I want you to know right now, that frustration you feel is real. It's not in your head, and it's not just normal aging. I'm Dr. Robert Miller, and after 35 years caring for folks just like you, I've learned something the system often overlooks. The single biggest mistake most seniors with type 2 diabetes make every single day is sitting down to their regular meals without giving their body one small, natural extra that helps handle the glucose load. They count on medication alone and watch those hidden spikes quietly wear down their energy, their clarity, and their independence over time. That's the mistake that keeps the A1C from budging, no matter how careful you are. Today I'm speaking directly to you, as if we're sitting across from each other in my old exam room. I'm going to walk you through 5 simple additions, each one chosen because it resolves a different daily consequence of that mistake. These aren't complicated regimens. They're things you can start tomorrow morning that target pathways your busy doctor may never have time to explain in plain words. One addresses the spike right after you eat. Another helps your cells actually listen to insulin again. Another protects the quiet inflammation that steals your get up and go. And the last one wakes up the energy factories inside your aging muscles, so you feel steadier all day long. By the time we finish these 25 minutes together, you'll have a clear, practical plan you can put into action without overwhelm. The most powerful insights, the ones that could help you hold on to the life you want for years to come in the second half. I'll share how one of my patients used these to get her mornings back and feel like herself again. I'll show you exactly how these additions can safely support what you're already doing with your medication. That's coming at the halfway point. And I'll connect every piece back to the independence you're determined to keep. That's waiting for you at the very end. Tell me in the comments below, what's the one daily frustration with your blood sugar that no one has ever explained to you in a way that actually made sense? I read every single comment personally because your story matters to me. Stay with me. The information that could change how you feel in the weeks ahead is right here, and it starts now. You wake up, shuffle into the kitchen for breakfast, and already feel that familiar afternoon slump coming, just from thinking about the day ahead. That heavy, dragged-out feeling after meals is one of the most common consequences of the mistake we just talked about. Your body is trying to process glucose, but without a little extra help right at mealtime, the spike happens fast and leaves you wiped out. That's exactly where a simple tablespoon of apple cider vinegar before your largest meal steps in and changes the game. Here's what happened in a randomized, controlled clinical trial published in Frontiers in Clinical Diabetes and Healthcare in 2023. Adults with type 2 diabetes who added apple cider vinegar daily saw their fasting blood glucose drop significantly, and their hemoglobin A1C levels improve in a way that was statistically different from the group that didn't use it. When I read those results, I immediately thought of you sitting at your own table after lunch, wondering why you need a nap by 2 p.m. That small daily drop in glucose response means steadier energy for the things you actually want to do. Folding laundry without stopping, chatting with the grandkids on the phone, or even taking that short walk around the block. Here's how it works in plain language. Apple cider vinegar's acetic acid gently slows the rate at which your stomach empties and the way carbohydrates break down in your small intestine. Think of it like putting a gentle speed bump on the road, so the glucose traffic doesn't all rush in at once. Your pancreas doesn't have to panic and flood you with insulin, and your energy stays even instead of crashing. The most common mistake people make with this is gulping it straight or using too much. That can irritate your throat or stomach. The fix is simple. Mix 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar into 4 ounces of water. Add a teaspoon of honey if the taste bothers you, and sip it 5 to 10 minutes before your biggest meal of the day. Do this once daily, preferably with lunch or dinner. Start with that single tablespoon and give it 2 weeks to notice the difference. Most of my patients tell me they feel the steadier energy within the first 10 to 14 days, fewer of those sudden tired spells, clearer thinking in the afternoon, and numbers on the meter that don't swing as wildly. It's not dramatic overnight, but it's real and it builds. And here's something important for you specifically. If you're on any stomach-sensitive medications or have reflux, dilute it well and talk with your doctor at your next visit. This one small step resolves that post-meal crash consequence that so many of us just accepted as normal. Now that you've seen how we can smooth out the spikes right at the source, let me show you the next addition that goes deeper and helps your cells actually hear insulin again, the very thing that often feels like it's fading with the years. If you've ever felt like your body just isn't responding the way it used to, no matter what you eat, you're not imagining it. That creeping insulin resistance is another direct consequence of the daily mistake we talked about. Meals without the right support over years and years. Your cells slowly stop listening as well, and the medication alone can only do so much. This is where cinnamon comes in as your quiet daily ally. A well-known study published in the Journal of the American Board of Family Medicine showed that people with type 2 diabetes, whose A1C was above 7, added cinnamon and saw meaningful drops in their hemoglobin A1C compared with those who didn't. When I think about that result, I picture you waking up one morning a few weeks from now and noticing your fasting number has edged down. Not by magic, but because your own body is handling glucose better throughout the day. In simple terms, compounds in cinnamon help wake up the insulin receptors on your cells, almost like turning up the volume on a doorbell so the message finally gets through. Glucose can move inside the cell where it belongs, instead of floating around in your bloodstream causing damage. The most common mistake is grabbing any cinnamon from the spice rack without checking the type. The cheap cassia variety works okay, but true Ceylon cinnamon is gentler and has higher levels of the active compounds. Use half a teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon powder stirred into your morning oatmeal, yogurt, or even your coffee once a day. That's it. No fancy recipes needed. Within 3 to 4 weeks, most folks notice steadier energy and fewer of those frustrating highs that used to show up on the meter. It's gentle, it tastes good, and it fits right into the breakfast you're already eating. This one tackles the insulin resistance consequence that so many of us have quietly accepted for too long. You've probably noticed that after a starchy meal, you sometimes feel that heavy, bloated feeling that lingers longer than it should. That's another consequence of the mistake. Your body struggling with how quickly carbohydrates break down and get absorbed. Fenugreek seeds give your gut the extra soluble fiber and natural compounds it needs to slow things down in a healthy way. In a 2023 study published in Food Research, type 2 diabetic patients who added fenugreek seed powder saw significant reductions in both fasting and postprandial blood glucose levels compared with their usual routine. When I read those numbers, I thought about you after dinner, finally able to relax on the couch without that uncomfortable fullness or the worry about what your meter will say in the morning. The seeds contain galactomannan fiber that forms a gentle gel in your intestine, slowing the release of sugars, while also supporting your body's own enzyme balance. It's like adding a soft brake pedal so everything moves at a pace your system can handle comfortably. The biggest mistake people make is swallowing the seeds whole or using too much at once, which can cause temporary gas. Instead, lightly roast a teaspoon of fenugreek seeds, grind them into a fine powder, and stir half a teaspoon into soup, stew, or a glass of warm water with lemon twice a day. Start with once a day for the first week so your gut adjusts. Within 2 to 3 weeks, my patients usually report smoother digestion, fewer spikes after meals, and an overall feeling of steadiness that makes daily life feel easier. This addition quietly resolves that heavy, lingering carb response you may have just been living with. Some days the fatigue feels deeper than just, "I didn't sleep well." It's that low-grade inflammation and cellular wear that builds up from years of higher glucose. Another hidden consequence of the mistake we're fixing today. Bitter melon, a humble vegetable used safely for generations, brings natural compounds that help calm that inflammation and support your cells from the inside. A 2024 systematic review and meta-analysis of 8 randomized controlled trials, published in Helion, looked at patients with type 2 diabetes and found that bitter melon supplementation led to a meaningful reduction in HbA1c of 0.38%, along with lower fasting blood glucose. When those results came across my desk, I immediately thought of you on those afternoons when even simple chores feel like too much. This is the kind of support that helps your body fight back at the cellular level. The plant's peptides and antioxidants work like a gentle housekeeper inside your cells, reducing oxidative stress and helping mitochondria, those tiny energy factories, stay efficient even as the years pass. The common mistake is thinking you have to eat it raw or drink large amounts of bitter tea. Instead, look for a standardized extract or simply cook one small, fresh bitter melon, sliced and stir-fried with a little olive oil and garlic twice a week. Start with a modest serving, so the taste doesn't overwhelm you. Most people notice improved energy and less of that heavy, inflammatory fog within 4 to 6 weeks. The kind of change that lets you enjoy your day instead of just getting through it. This one directly addresses the deeper cellular wear that steals independence one tired afternoon at a time. You finish a meal, sit down, and within an hour you feel that familiar heaviness in your legs, or that vague sense that your get up and go has gotten up and gone. That loss of steady muscle energy is the final consequence of the daily mistake. Your aging muscles aren't pulling glucose out of the bloodstream as efficiently as they once did. A short, timed walk after eating changes that picture completely. In a study published in Diabetes Care in 2013, older adults at risk for glucose problems, who did 3 15-minute bouts of moderate walking after meals, saw significantly better 24-hour blood glucose control compared with longer single walks done at other times. When I read that, I pictured you getting up from the table, taking a gentle 10 or 15-minute stroll around the block, or even around your living room, and feeling the difference in how the rest of your afternoon unfolds. The movement activates GLUT4 transporters in your muscle cells and fires up the mitochondria so they burn glucose right when it's entering your system. It's like opening extra doors in the muscle cells exactly when the delivery truck arrives. The most common mistake is waiting too long or doing a long walk once a day instead of short ones right after eating. Instead, stand up within 5 to 10 minutes after finishing your meal and walk at a comfortable pace, just enough to feel your heart rate rise gently for 10 to 15 minutes. Do this after your 2 largest meals each day. No gym clothes needed, house shoes are fine. Within the first 2 weeks, most of my patients tell me they feel lighter on their feet, their afternoon energy lasts longer, and their evening meter readings look calmer than they have in years. This final addition wakes up the natural power already inside your muscles and completes the circle of support your body has been asking for. You've stayed right here with me through all 5 additions, and that tells me you're serious about feeling better. You're not just hoping for change, you're doing something real for yourself, and I'm proud of you for that. Press the like button if this is helping you save the video so you can come back to the exact instructions whenever you need them. It's the easiest way to find this information again next week when you're planning your meals. We've covered apple cider vinegar for the post-meal spikes, cinnamon for better insulin listening, fenugreek for smoother carb handling, bitter melon for cellular calm, and post-meal walking for steady muscle energy. Together, they address the consequences of that one daily mistake in a way your medication works alongside, not against. And yes, these additions are gentle enough to use with your current regimen when timed properly, which we'll cover in the action plan. The most surprising part still ahead is how small, consistent changes like these can add up to the kind of independence you thought might be slipping away. You deserve to keep living on your own terms. Keep watching. The practical morning to evening plan is coming next, and I promise it's simpler than you expect. You probably found this video because you searched for real answers about blood sugar that actually make sense for someone your age. If you press the subscribe button just below this video right now, I'll send you a new video every week with practical health information made specifically for folks over 60, the kind of clear guidance the medical system often doesn't have time to give. It's a personal service from me to you, and skipping it could mean missing the one piece that finally helps you feel steady again. You've come this far because you care about your health, and that means something. I'm leaning in here like we're in my office together. Would you press subscribe now so the next video lands in your feed? You've already proven you're willing to do the work. This is simply the next natural step. You've stayed with me all the way through 5 powerful additions, and I want to thank you for that. I read every comment personally, so tell me, which one of these 5 feels easiest for you to try first this week, and why? Your answer might help someone else who's watching right now. I have one more surprising medical fact most doctors don't mention. Even a single 10-minute walk right after dinner can lower your next morning fasting glucose more than an extra pill in some cases, because it works with your body's natural overnight rhythms instead of fighting them. That little detail is coming up in the action plan, and it's the kind of practical edge you won't want to miss. You've already proven you care about your health by watching this far, and subscribing is simply the next natural step. Press subscribe so I can keep sending you information made just for you. Here's the simple action plan I give every patient who sits across from me with the same concerns you have. Start tomorrow morning with these exact steps so nothing feels overwhelming. Each day begin with your usual medication on its normal schedule. Then, 5 to 10 minutes before your largest meal, usually lunch or dinner, mix 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in 4 ounces of water and sip it slowly. For cinnamon, stir half a teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon into your breakfast yogurt or oatmeal every morning. At lunch or dinner, add half a teaspoon of freshly ground fenugreek powder to soup or a glass of warm water. Twice a week, include a small cooked bitter melon serving with dinner. Slice it thin and sauté lightly. After your 2 biggest meals, stand up within 10 minutes and take a comfortable 10 to 15-minute walk. Around the house, the yard, or the block is perfect. In weeks 1 and 2, you'll likely notice steadier energy after meals and fewer of those sudden tired spells. By the end of month 1, most people see their meter trends smoothing out and report sleeping better because the overnight glucose swings have calmed. Track your fasting morning number in a simple notebook so you can watch the gentle downward slope. One important warning: apple cider vinegar can interact with certain kidney or diuretic medications, and bitter melon may mildly lower blood sugar further, so always check with your physician before starting, especially if you take blood thinners or have low blood pressure. Print this plan and bring it to your next appointment. Most doctors are happy to see you taking charge safely. 1 month from now, you'll likely wake up feeling clearer, move through your day with more ease, and notice that quiet confidence that comes when your body finally feels supported. You've earned this. I remember one patient, Margaret, who sat right where you are now. 72 years old, A1C stuck at 8.2 for years, terrified she'd lose her driver's license and her ability to live alone. She felt dismissed by every 15-minute appointment and the same pamphlet. We started with these exact additions, timed carefully around her meds. Within 3 months, her A1C had dropped to 6.9, and the look on her face when she told me she could still drive herself to the senior center was something I'll never forget. Those struggles you live with, the morning numbers that don't make sense, the afternoon fatigue that makes you cancel plans, the fear that one day you'll need help with the simplest things, those are real, and they are not inevitable. Your body is still listening. It's still capable of responding when you give it the right, gentle support. You are not too far along, and you are absolutely not too old. Everything we've covered today connects directly to the deepest fear we all share: losing control of our own life. These 5 additions don't just move numbers on a lab sheet. They help you keep doing the things that make life worth living on your own terms. Tonight, before you turn out the light, write down which one addition you'll try first tomorrow morning. Just one. That small human step is how real change begins. We've walked through apple cider vinegar for smoother post-meal responses, cinnamon for better insulin listening, fenugreek for gentle carb handling, bitter melon for cellular calm, and post-meal walking for steady muscle energy. These 5 address the consequences of that one daily mistake in ways that can support the care you're already receiving. What surprised you most about one of these additions today? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one personally. If you want next week's video on the single most overlooked nighttime habit that keeps morning numbers steady, press subscribe right now so YouTube sends it straight to you. It is free, and it only takes a second. The next video includes one surprising kitchen timing trick that many of my patients say changed everything. Always talk with your physician before making any changes to your routine. This is educational information meant to help you have better conversations with your doctor, never to replace their care. You deserve real answers and real hope. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'll see you in the next video.